Hi everyone, welcome back to the Book Brood with Erin and Heidi. Today we're doing another tag because we just realized we have all of these tags to do.
Yes, we didn't realize we had been tagged so much. We'll pay better attention now going forward.
Definitely. So this is the I Messed Up book tag, which was originally done by Read Like Wildfire, but we were tagged by RM FicFac, and we will link both of those down below.
Yes. And this one was actually recent. We caught this one.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. So
it wasn't from last fall, like
yeah,
the rest of them. Okay, so these are 8 questions, and let's just jump right in.
All right, number 1, a character appearance that you misread and imagined differently. I went with Bobby Shafto from Cryptonomicon. At the beginning of this, I thought he was like an average height, like dark-haired, Italian-American, fast-talking and stuff. And as I made it to maybe about here in the book, I realized he's this like tall, broad-shouldered blonde, like Tennessee, born.
Weird.
Yeah. So I actually have a different visualization, which for the different parts of the books they're the book that I'm thinking about.
That's funny. I had sort of a similar situation. So I said Edward from the Anita Blake verse. He was described before I made a mental picture, but I just couldn't mesh that with the character. So he's supposed to be this average, tall, nondescript, blonde guy who's supposed to be not that memorable, so he can kind of sneak around and no one remembers his face or whatever. But that didn't seem villainous enough to me, and so like I have this picture in my head of him being like having dark hair for some reason and being more sketchy.
That's more how I pictured him too.
More like badass and right?
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be blonde. I don't know. Okay, number 2, a character name that you've been pronouncing wrong.
I pronounced one of the constructors from the Siberiad all sorts of different ways. It's like Caplacius?
Oh man, yeah.
Caplacius?
What?
It was
We're gonna have to write that.
It was a new sound every time I read it.
Yeah, that's obnoxious. I'm going to go with one that I'm sure a ton of people are going to say, and that is Hermione. Until the 4th book, when Viktor Krum, like, keeps messing up her name and she has to, like, spell it out phonetically, I didn't, like, I pronounced it, like, heroine or something, like, not like heroin, like your, drugs, but, like, like a female hero, because I just couldn't, like, make my brain. I looked at the word and I'm like, no, that's not really a word.
Yeah.
I'm just going to fill it in with something else.
I think everyone made their own interpretation of that one. All right, an overused trope that is your guilty pleasure. And for me, there's just nothing like a good savior story. They can be really bad, but when they're good, I just fall head over heels for them.
It's kind of embarrassing, but I am kind of a sucker for a good enemies to lovers story. Like, if it's done well, I enjoy that.
It is a fun dynamic to weave through that process.
Right. You've got a lot of, character growth happening and yeah, I don't know. I'm just trash for it, so... Okay, a cliche character type that you like better on screen than reading about.
So I don't particularly care for it on screen, but I can handle it better, and that's the child that's just in the story, pretty much for the sake of just having a child there. I can kind of put up with it on screen. In a book, it's much more difficult.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I read a lot of books like that. I said... anyone written as annoyingly handsome or distractingly beautiful. I prefer the screen version because then they don't have to use those horrible words.
They don't need a descriptor.
They can just do a hair flip. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Then a word or phrase that you learned because it was in a book. I know there's hundreds. I couldn't pin one down. I'm sorry.
I said a fortnight, and that was a weird expression of time that I was not familiar with when I was younger and first came across it. And I had to read several like adult fantasy novels to finally get the definition of a fortnight, because my definition kept changing depending on... But anyways, I finally figured it out. I think it's 2 weeks. I think that's a fortnight.
I think so. Or a month. Is it?
We'll see, that's the thing.
We'll have to look it up.
I don't know. But that's what I think it is. So, number 6. Have you ever not read or completed a required reading book for school?
I did that constantly. I can count on one hand the amount of assigned reading in school that I actually read. It's pretty bad. I
didn't like the subject matter that we were assigned in high school, especially. I remember we had to read this book that I never remember the title of, but it was about nuclear fallout and a mother taking care of her children as they're all dying from radiation. And I wouldn't read it. It was so fucked up. And then we had to watch the movie, which was even worse. And I was like purposely trying to not watch it, but I couldn't like leave the room.
Yeah.
It was seriously messed up. And I think I was a freshman. I was just like, this is too real.
Yeah.
This is too crazy.
Have you ever or wanted to skip a chapter from a point of view character that you weren't interested in? And yes, I want to. I've wanted to. I haven't, though. At least in books that I don't just put down and give up on completely. So, because I know that there's going to be things that happen around the uninteresting character that are going to be important to the story.
Any specific examples?
Yeah, Sansa.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say. I maybe read the first few chapters of these straight through, and then, so this is Inda by Sherwood Smith. And then I just attached myself to one character and I didn't care about anything else. And I just flipped through and read his chapters all the way through to the end. And the story didn't make sense, but I wasn't looking for plot. I was looking for character development. And I wanted to see, once I got to the end, if it was worth it to read the whole thing through. And I think it will be worth it eventually. So I haven't got rid of this yet, but I haven't read it through yet. And it's the beginning of like a trilogy or a series. So I don't know.
I had forgotten about that book.
I'm
surprised
right?
You still have it.
I know, I've had it for years. I don't know. Okay, and our last one, have you ever canceled social plans to read a book?
Not so much canceled plans, but my first roommates in college were a lot more stereotypical party bros than I was, and so there would definitely be nights where they went out to party, and I'm just like, nope, I'm staying in tonight. I'm gonna read, Dune or Lord of the Rings or Red Mars, whatever I was reading back then.
Yeah. I cancel coffee dates with my best friend all the time to read, but we have coffee like 3 or 4 times a week. So if I tell her, hey, don't come over today because I'm in the middle of this fantastic book, and if you come over, I will ignore you. So she totally understands. That's that.
All right, there was our I Messed Up book tag. For this, who are we gonna tag?
This is a new one, right?
Somewhat new. Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'm so bad at this. We should have figured it out earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We will link whoever we tag down below and send them a message so it's not like us finally stumbling across it months later.
Yes.
They'll actually have a heads up.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll
Bye.
see you next time.